Welcome back to Going to Ground, friends. You find me in the churchyard of All Saints Alton Priors, one of my favourite bits of mystic Wiltshire, in the shadow of the Pewsey Vale and the Alton Barns White Horse, right by the cleft yew tree, one of the great yew trees of England, this ancient yews, which is as usual, as they usually are, in the churchyard. You can see the church behind and through it, and this amazing old beauty, if I go inside it, which you can always do with an ancient yew, is appears to be two trees entirely bisected and yet growing from the same root, and in itself a parable of the church's division and or unity and the parallel growth perhaps of different traditions growing side by side in the same ground. And I've come over here at the end of a full week to walk again the path between these two churches. We filmed here before. Do you remember there's a path between this church, Alton Priors, which is now looked after by the Churches Conservation Trust, and its neighbouring church, Alton Barns, which I don't think you can quite see it, but it's just through the trees there, not a quarter of a mile away, a couple of 100 yards away, and there's a stony sarsen stone path between the two. Do you remember it was built so that the rector wouldn't get his cassock muddy, and he agreed to take on this church as well if they built a path between the two across the muddy field that allowed him to do so unsullied, as it were, unbesmirched by the fields. And I've been in a few churches this week, as is my usual habit, and on Monday evening, I can't remember when I last spoke to you, but on Monday evening I was in St Michael and All Angels, Winterbourne Earls, and there found a remarkable carving I'd been aware of before, but it struck me again actually, thinking about the debates that the church is having and preparing to write something about it and wondering how I can speak usefully into the present situation of the church. A 14th century carving, thought to be, of a figure that turns out to be of a priest holding a human heart. How about that? A priest holding a human heart. There's a little explanation of the carving underneath it. It's only about 18 inches high. You wouldn't know that's what it was. It looks almost as if it's holding a vessel of, the figure is holding a vessel of some sort, because the carving, is so worn away. But it's such a powerful image that when I first saw that, it just blew me away, the idea, the image of what it would be like to carry the human heart with care and delicacy, reverence almost. It's held like an infant. I'll post the picture I've got of it on Instagram soon. But carried, cradled almost like an infant, and one could imagine that posture of pastoral care. It's an image of pastoral care, of dealing carefully with the human things, which we must do, we're compelled to do. I wonder what human hearts you are, as it were, bearing up, carrying, that are close to your heart. What does it require of us? If you're a believer, what does God ask of you, of me, in order to carry the human heart in a way that doesn't wound it but preserves it and allows it to live powerful metaphor, isn't it? And I'm going to use that in the next few days, as I say, as a prompt to a written piece, I think, which I'll let you know about in due course. I hope your heart's in a good way today, physically, spiritually. The heart and the soul closely aligned. And for the sake of my soul, I'm going to dwell here a little bit longer. And look forward to speaking with you again soon. God bless you as you go to ground.